Hi guys, I'm Mr. Mike. Welcome to another one-take flipped video made especially for you to save time. Okay, today I want to talk to you about a special grammar structure called conditionals. It's found in the Express Publishing coursebook, the Write On 4 coursebook, module 3E, conditionals. Great. Conditionals. So basically, conditionals show something which must happen so that something else can happen. I believe we call these clauses conditional clauses because the definition of a condition is something which must happen so that something else can happen. So that's why conditional clauses consist of two parts: the if clause, or the hypothesis, and the main clause, the result. So for example, if you have a look here, if you study hard, you will pass the exam. Obviously, as a grammar structure, it says if you put the main clause before the if clause, you don't need a comma. You can actually listen to it. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. Could you hear the pause? Whereas, you will pass the exam if you study hard. So, traditional grammar breaks down the conditionals into 3 or 4 patterns. So let's have a look. Let's start off with type 0 conditional. We use 0 conditionals to express something which is always true or a law of nature. So basically, if you boil water, it gradually evaporates. Or when you boil water, because it's not a matter of if, it's when you boil water, it gradually evaporates. Whereas the type 1 conditional is used to express something which is real or likely to happen in the present or future. Present or future, keep that, yeah? For instance, if you don't try harder, your grades won't improve next term. If you study, you will pass. This example is actually quite cool because it also talks the unless, which means exactly the same as if you don't try harder. Unless you try harder, can you hear the negative impact? Moving on to type 2 conditionals. We use type 2 conditions to express something which is unreal or highly unlikely, which will happen again though in the present or future. So I want you to keep that in mind. If past simple or past continuous, you put would, could, might, the past modals I call these, and the infinitive without the two. So if you spoke Chinese, you don't speak Chinese. That's why we put the unreal past. I would transfer you to our office in China. So this is happening, in the present, and it's talking about the future, isn't it? If you spoke Chinese today, I would transfer you to our office in China tomorrow. Type 2 can also be used to give advice, with the traditional if I were you. I think we normally use if I were you in formal conditions, and we can use if I was you, but it's really informal and everyday setting. So I think English as a foreign language speakers normally use if I were you, they just learn it. If I were you, I'd talk to my parents about the problem. So this is just you to give advice. Yeah. Again, we could also use it to imagine different future outcomes. If I were you, I would talk to my parents about the problem, or express regret or wish for something different. We'll have a look at that more later. So, moving on to type 3, we use type 3 to express an imaginary situation in the past. So basically, we use it to give criticism, to express regrets, or actually wishes for changes to the past. So listen to this. If Adrian hadn't gone skiing, but he did, he wouldn't have broken his leg. But obviously, looking at the picture, Adam did go skiing and he did break his leg. So depending on the way you say it, well, if Adam hadn't gone skiing, he wouldn't have broken his leg. Or, well, if Adam hadn't gone skiing, he wouldn't have broken his leg. Or if Adam was saying it, if I hadn't gone skiing, I wouldn't have broken my leg. Express regrets. Ooh, look at this lady. She's looking at the scale here. If I hadn't eaten so many sweets, I wouldn't have put on so much weight. Okay. So that was actually quite good. You can actually see this in the IE book as well, or obviously turn to the grammar reference at the back of the book, which has these huge tables which are sometimes so confusing, but maybe you could jot them down, make some notes. Type 0, used for general truth, or type 1, you could connect these together really, because the only difference is something in the main clause, we use present simple instead of using will, the future, or can, may, might, should, could. If you study, you will pass, whereas if you study, you pass is more of a general truth, or this could happen in the present or future. Whereas type 2, remember, we use it for giving advice, to talk about something that is unlikely or impossible, to imagine different future outcomes, or express regret or wish for a different reality. So type 2 is ifs in past simple or past continuous, and would, could, might plus the infinitive without the 2. If you studied, you would pass. Moving along to type 3, if you had studied, studied, you would have passed. Great. Finally, I'm just going to talk to you about the notes, which actually are quite useful. So let's have a look at this. The first note. Unless we hurry, we will be late is the same as if we don't hurry, we will be late. Here it says we use were instead of was. Probably sounds more formal, or we actually use it to give advice. Okay, moving on, we can see in type 2, we could use could in the if clause, which means the same as were able to. If I were able to sing well, I'd join your band. If I was able to sing well, I'd join your band. If I could sing well, yeah? Something that shows ability, we're able to. Instead of using if, we can use when to show it's going to happen for sure. If Holly calls, I will tell her the news. Whereas when Holly calls, I will tell her the news. Holly's bound to call. Again, guys, if you go into the workbook, there's a grammar bank at the back of the book. And I'll let you read and summarize the final note by yourselves. Oh, and by the way, if you like my video, remember to like and subscribe. Bye for now.